Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Steve Betts.
Number 2.
My name is Steve Betts.
Number 3.
My name is Steve Betts.
Only one of these people is the real Steve Betts, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur, Orson Bean. Former Miss America, Mary Ann Mobley. Star of the new feature film Popcorn, Tom Villard. And to tell the truth's very own, Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Gordon Elliot.
Thank you and welcome to the show. And good morning, panel. Good morning, Gordon. Mary Ann Mobley, is it true that you spend your spare time with sharks? And I'm not talking about real estate developers.
Or my agent.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yes, I do. I'm getting my advanced open water certification, and I go scuba diving down the Bahamas with sharks. And I got to dive in Epcot Center with the living seas with the sharks there.
And you prefer their company to Hollywood. What a strange woman.
Well, you know how to predict a shark's actions. Sometimes humans are a little more clever about covering up.
You just use that southern charm on those little old bitty creatures.
It's hard to say hi, y'all, though underwater.
And Kitty, you look gorgeous today.
Thank you, darling. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, the men just measure up, but you look beautiful.
Gordon, do you know, speaking of sharks, do you know why lawyers can swim unmolested among the sharks?
I do not know.
Professional courtesy.
Let's get right to the story presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Steve Betts. And this is his story. Please read along with me. I, Steve Betts, am one of the few fortunate Americans who escaped Kuwait when the Iraqi army invaded in August. For hours, we watched helplessly as Hussein's tanks bombarded the army base. All hell broke loose. I could hear machine gun fire. People were being killed. Homes looted. 4 days later, I heard the border was open, and I decided to make a break for it. I threw my briefcase, my camera, my iron, and a cooler into the car and set out across 85 miles of desert. Twice, I approached Iraqi checkpoints, but luckily I sneaked through. As I approached the last checkpoint, a young Iraqi soldier approached with his rifle. I was terrified when he raised his hand, and then he motioned. He was thirsty. I quickly grabbed a Diet Cola from my cooler. As he drank, I made my getaway to freedom. Signed, Steve Betts. Welcome, challengers, and we'll find out more about this escapade from Kuwait right after this short break. Welcome back to the program. All right, panel, these three people all claim to be Steve Betts, who fled Kuwait in the nick of time, and we'll start the questioning with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number one, where were you?
I was in Kuwait City.
And number two, how many cans of of Diet Cola did you have in your cooler?
I had 6 cans of Diet Pepsi.
And number three, did you have to give all 3 of them to buy your way out?
No, just one.
Oh, really? Number one, how far from the border were you?
At that point, I was about 20 miles.
Number two, what were you doing there?
I was coaching swimming in Kuwait.
Coaching swimming. Is there, number three, there's places to swim in the desert?
Yes, ma'am, there is at the university in Kuwait City.
Ah, thank you.
They have a damp sponge they practice in. Tom.
Number three, you brought your iron in this moment of crisis. Were you going to iron in the desert on your way out of town?
No, I just grabbed whatever I could. I left all my worldly possessions behind, but the iron reminded me of my wife.
Oh.
He was pressed.
Oh. Number two.
Sorry, it's okay. Sorry, Tom, carry on.
Number two, who did you hear that the border was open from? How did that information come to you?
I telephoned the Saudi embassy.
Number one, where did you go after you crossed the border? What was the next leg of the journey?
I went to Dhahran, and I flew out of Saudi Arabia.
And number one, and that was easy to do, that part of it?
I'd already gotten the okay from the Saudi government.
Mary Ann.
Number two, what qualified you to be a swimming coach?
I swam in college, and it's what I always wanted to do.
Number 3, how many were you in your party when you made your escape?
I was alone in my car, and a basketball coach and his wife were following me in their car.
Number 1, how did you find out that there was a possibility that you may be able to escape over the border?
When I called the Saudis, they gave me the route.
Number...
That was very helpful of them, Orson.
Thank you, Gordon. I felt so proud when I heard about this story because it says one of the few fortunate Americans, but it was so gutsy of you to take a shot. Number 3, were you tempted to just lay low and stay where you were?
Yes, sir. That's why I stayed for 4 days.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were going to leave.
Number 2, what odds did you think you were up against when you decided to make a dash for it?
50-50.
Yeah. Number 1, did you think that you might get shot?
There was a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
In fact, I grabbed the iron as a weapon.
As a weapon. Oh, mercy. Well, I don't know.
Heavy artillery.
Yes, really. Number 2, maybe it said it in here, but how long did it actually take you in terms of hours or days to make the actual escape?
About an hour and 15-minute drive.
Oh, it was that quick, an hour and 15. Number 3.
Okay, we've got to leave it there. Time is up, panel. Time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is fooled completely, the team of challengers wins $3,000. Now, panel, if you're ready to cast your ballots, we'll start with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. I don't think it's number 3 because he said 1 can of Diet Pepsi was enough to get him free. And number 1 had all the stories straight, and he could be a swimming coach. But number 2 looked to me as though he's had a hair-raising experience, and he's not laughing about it.
All right.
So I voted for number 2.
Thank you very much, Kitty. Tom?
I go back to this iron incident. I think it's a wonderful romantic concept to bring one along for your wife, but if I was that frightened, I think I'd want one to club somebody with. So I voted for number 1. He seemed like he'd have a mean left iron hook.
Mary Ann?
Well, I'm proud of whoever is the right person here, because it's a very courageous thing that you've done. I first thought number 3 because I thought the iron and being married was a very sort of, you grab the first thing that comes handy. I don't think of using it as a weapon. I got shot at in Mozambique, but I would have grabbed anything, including my husband. But I thought number 2 looked like a man who was trying very hard not to smile.
Okay.
And I think he's the one.
All righty. Now, Orson.
I had to disqualify myself. As the questioning went along, I realized that I had seen the real Steve Betts on Larry King's wonderful show, hoisting his can of Diet Pepsi aloft for the world to see.
All right, well, that goes as an incorrect vote, as you know, by these rules. So the votes are all in, as you can see. 1 vote for number 1, 2 votes for number 2, and a 1 disqualification, which counts as an incorrect vote. Now for the moment of truth. Will the real Steve Betts please stand up? Congratulations, Kitty. You got it. That's fantastic. And are you doing an ad for Pepsi or what?
No, I'm not. I really think it's not the right time with some hostages still there.
Did you leave any friends behind?
Too many, and hopefully they'll be out soon.
Okay, I hope so too. Number 1. Who is you? Who is you? Who is you? And what is your real name?
My name is Richard Jacobson, and I am a medical researcher.
Okay, number 3. What's your name? What do you really do?
My name is Michael Cara, and I'm a police officer, and I'm featured in the Beverly Hills Cops calendar.
Well, there were 2 incorrect votes. If we include Orson's disqualification and a $500 a vote, your team will receive $1,000. But thank you very much for being with us today on To Tell the Truth. And we'll be back with the Ladies Strikes matches with millionaires right after this. To Tell the Truth, let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Christine O'Keefe.
Number 2.
My name is Christine O'Keefe.
Number 3.
My name is Christine O'Keefe.
Well, it's up to you, panel, to locate the real Christine O'Keefe, and here is her story, if you'd like to read along with me. I, Christine O'Keefe, am a professional matchmaker. I've been called matchmaker to the moneyed because I specialize in drawing together the very rich and the very famous. My fees begin at $5,000, but rise considerably if you're looking for a prince, a duke, or a sheikh. I mix business with pleasure. My social life is a whirl. I go from party to party, looking for the caliber of companion my elegant clients are yearning for. I don't find dates. I find people to share lives. If you can't afford my $5,000 fee, you can read my book called How to Successfully Flirt, Date, and Mate. Signed, Christine O'Keefe. Alrighty, welcome challengers. Let's see if we can get a successful match on this one. Orson Bean to begin with.
Thank you. Now, the sheikh that you referred to, we call a chic up over here.
Oh,
See,
chic is fashionably... All right,
okay. Number 2, men traditionally, in the tradition from centuries, are attracted to youth and beauty. Women are attracted to money and power. Number 2, is this still the case in your line of endeavor?
No.
It is not the case. Number 3, would you agree with what number 2 said?
No, I would disagree.
You would disagree. Tell me what kind of men the women that come to you are looking for.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Are they looking for rich, powerful men?
Yes.
Or were they looking for Happy, who lives over by the city dump?
They're looking for rich, powerful men.
Rich, powerful men. Number 1, what would it cost for a woman to get a sheik or a sultan or a nawab?
Well, since they're very difficult to come by, the fee is, it depends on how specific their requirements are.
Nawabs are scarce these days, number 1.
Oh, there's a special on Kuwaiti sheiks.
Oh, that's true,
now.
yeah.
Mary Ann.
Number 2, are you married?
No.
Ah, interesting. Number 3, if you're looking for a sheik or a sheikh or a malt,
or a sheikh with a sheik.
how does one find one? I mean, you just don't get on the phone and say, hello, may I have a sheikh, please? Or a sheik? How does one find one?
A great deal of research.
Number 1, what is your success rate? I mean, how many people have you been able to put together that have ended up married?
Married 42 couples.
Number 2.
Okay, moving along now to Tom.
Number 1, what does one get for $5,000?
Can we talk privately, Tom?
I mean, is there a bonus? I mean, is there a whole plan, or what does that purchase, $5,000? An entree to a party, or?
No, absolutely not. I'm not a matchmaker. I do a thorough search for someone that has the requirements that the person has given to me in many interviews.
Kitty Carlisle.
Goodness. Number 1, do more women look for a match or a partner than men?
It's about 50-50.
Is it true? Number 2, you say that they share lives. They don't all have to marry, but they have to kind of be together. Is that right?
Yes, but most of my clients are looking for marriage.
Uh-huh. And number 3, you say that women are looking for power and money. What are men looking for?
Sense of humor and someone bright.
Sense of humor and what?
Someone bright.
And 18 years old.
Don't be bitter, Mary Ann, don't be bitter. There's always surgery. Time's up, panel, and it's time to vote for number 1, number 2, I'm sorry, Mary Ann, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is filled completely, the team will receive $3,000. If you're ready to cast your ballots, we'll begin with Orson Bean.
I'd pay $100,000 for an intro to you, my dear.
Oh, I love you.
Just as you are.
Oh.
I voted for number 2. That's it.
Okay, Mary Ann.
This was very difficult because I think that they were all very good, but just on the instinct, and I think she was really trying to cover up on this. I think it was number 3.
Tom.
This is, again, instinct. I don't have a clue. I thought initially number 1 because she looks like the wild and crazy party girl. But
She means that as a compliment.
that's my highest compliment.
They're only $1,000.
But I think number 3 seemed to know what people were looking for more than the other 2 people, and so I think number 3.
Okay, Kitty.
Well, thank you. We only asked number 3 what people were looking for, so that's not quite fair. And number 2...
Well, I asked about the sheikh.
I don't think that's the real one. I think it's number one, because number one looks like the kind of person who would have entree to all kinds of parties and people. She looks like the kind of person that everyone would really like to be with.
Oh, what a compliment. One vote for number one. One vote for number two. Two votes for number three. Now it's time to find out who the real Cash Cupid is. Will the real Christine O'Keefe please stand up? Can I ask you, Christine, what's been the most expensive search?
$25,000.
And who was that? Who did you find for that?
A rather famous actress that was looking for one of three men in the Forbes 100.
And she got it?
She got him and she married him.
And can we know who that famous actress was?
No.
Wasn't Liz and Malcolm?
I'll never tell.
Okay, marvelous. We can all see if we can look up the Forbes 500, look up our famous actresses list. Listen, let's find out who our imposters really are. Number one, your real name, what do you do?
My name is Carolyn Blaine, and I'm personal assistant to a CEO of a large national realty company. And I've never been married.
It's customer. Number two, your real name and occupation.
My name is Sarah McKenzie, and I sell industrial chemicals.
Well, you've sold us a pretty good story today, too. Well, there were two incorrect votes of $500, so your team will receive $1,000. Thank you very much for being with us today on To Tell the Truth. We've added something new to Tell the Truth. It's called One-on-One, and we'll be back to play it with someone from our studio audience right after this. To play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience. Burton, who do you have for us today?
Well, Gordon, today we have Gloria Howard of Irving, Texas.
Well, welcome, Gloria.
Thank you.
Didn't know you'd end up on national TV, did you?
No, I didn't.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
All righty. Here's your chance to play one-on-one. I want you to meet a lady with two stories. Her name is Kim Koenig. Welcome, Kim. Now, Gloria, Kim is going to tell you two stories, only one of which is the truth. If you spot that true story, you'll win $500. Kim, what is your first story?
I've always liked to wear men's underwear, so I became an official model for Jockey Briefs.
Now, that may or may not be the truth, so let's listen to Kim's second story.
I train nervous women to give speeches in public. I wrote a book called Housewives Speak Up.
All right. Now, Gloria, the panel are going to help you try and win that $500. They'll ask one question about each story. Let's start with story number one, underwear model, and Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. What are your qualifications for modeling jockey briefs?
I love the briefs.
Is that enough?
Tom, what support can you offer?
Are there other men's underthings you like to wear, like jock straps?
Boxing shorts? Anything else?
I like cotton T-shirts.
Mary Ann.
It boggles the mind. What caused you to first try this?
Well, I really like cotton products, and it was hard to find women's underwear that were cotton at one time.
So you just found
Sorry, one question. Orson.
Yeah, I'd pay a few bucks to see you in jockey shorts. In my ear. Tell me, what do you never wear boxer shorts too drafty for you in there? Or
No, I don't like boxers. I like the bikini style.
I see.
Okay, now you've heard Kim's first story, Gloria. Now story number two, questions on that from Kitty.
Thank you. Are women more nervous speaking in front of men or in front of each other?
I think they're nervous speaking in front of both. Public speaking is difficult for women.
Tom.
It says you train nervous women, but you wrote a book called Housewives Speak Up. Are all nervous women housewives? Is
Not
that mostly?
necessarily.
No.
And Gloria, I'm sorry, Mary Ann.
Yes, remember me, short, squat little girl. What is the one singular most important bit of advice that you would give someone who's nervous about speaking?
Find a friendly face in the audience, look them straight in the eye, and speak to them as though they were in your own living room.
Awesome.
When housewives learn this ability, what effect does it have on their marriages at home?
Well, I don't know about at home, but when they go out in the public and work for political issues, environmental causes, child care, and those sorts of issues, it's very beneficial.
Okay, now, Gloria, you've heard that cross-examination. Is, in your opinion, Kim an underwear model, or did she write a book on giving speeches?
Well, she's real well versed in writing speeches, I think. But I think I'm going to say underwear model.
Okay.
She's beautiful both ways. So.
All righty. Well, if you're right, you do win that $500. Kim, what is your true story?
To tell the truth, I model jockey underwear.
Congratulations, Gloria. You won $500. Thanks for playing one-on-one with us.
Thank you.
Now, I've got to ask you, Kim, how on earth did all this come about? You're an official model for Jockey Briefs.
Yes, well, I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Seattle, and Jockey...
She's a criminal defense lawyer in Seattle.
Jockey uses real people in their ad campaign. They use a lot of professional women, so I wrote them a letter praising their underwear, and they asked me if I would model for them.
And you're 4 months pregnant, I believe, right now?
About 4.5.
Proving you don't need to waste money on lingerie. Kim, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for playing one-on-one with us. We'll be right back after these words. This edition of To Tell the Truth. And Kitty, going to see you again tomorrow?
Oh, I hope so.
All right. Okay, we'll see you again next time, too. Cheers.
GSA. It's season 2 with twice the jackpot and double the drama. Give it to me. World Series of Blackjack, Friday at 10. Part of Casino Night on GSN, the network for games.
Inventor of new cocktails.